With us, well, a fresh Israeli airstrike has begun targeting southern suburbs of Beirut after the IDF signalled plans for a major new bombing campaign. The warning triggered panic on the streets of the Lebanese capital as people attempted to flee. It comes as a far-right minister warns the areas will soon resemble parts of war-devastated Gaza and as the IDF expands its control in southern Lebanon. Well, our senior reporter Catherine Norris-Trent is in Beirut. We can cross live to her now. Catherine, I hope you're staying safe there. This latest attack got underway just a few minutes before we came on air about an hour ago. What's the very latest?
Good evening, Sharon, from a very tense Beirut this evening. So what we've been seeing in the past hour is a number of strikes. I counted 5 of them on the southern suburbs of Beirut, which are behind me over there. So we've seen loud flashes, of course, of light and then large plumes of black smoke rising into the air. This was expected after the Israeli army issued evacuation orders across swathes of Beirut's southern suburbs in the middle of the afternoon, across a huge area, really. Most of the southern suburbs, known as the Dahieh, behind me, which is home to a large population, hundreds of thousands of people, but is also known as a Hezbollah stronghold. And Israel signalled that it would be carrying out an extensive bombing campaign there. In fact, the Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich went on Israeli TV saying that he hoped that these suburbs of Beirut behind me would soon resemble Khan Yunis in war-torn Gaza, which of course have been reduced to rubble. So this mass evacuation order earlier sent people fleeing onto the streets in droves. We saw the roads of Beirut absolutely clogged up with traffic as people tried to get out as quickly as they could. Other people, not wanting to wait for the traffic to clear up, set out on foot, just carrying their belongings in a few bags. So that really has seen a mass evacuation of these southern suburbs of Beirut for the first time since this conflict began. A lot of people sleeping out now under the cold and wondering what this night will hold for them.
And Catherine, as you say, huge numbers of residents fleeing, not for the first time for many of them. Israel saying it's launching a new phase of this war, and France says it's set to strengthen its cooperation with the Lebanese armed forces. Just how concerned are people there about what's likely to come?
People are extremely worried here in Beirut, and other people, of course, across the country, across Lebanon. So, of course, in Beirut, the immediate danger they're facing is from this bombing campaign, and that's sent them out onto the streets, despite the cold weather Lebanon is experiencing here at night, and despite the fact that many of them can't afford alternative accommodation. They've had to flee their homes once again. Many of them had to flee back in 2024 in the conflict then and several times in the past. So across the country, there's a sense of tension, really, as this conflict now escalates into another day. In the south of Lebanon, the Israeli army has launched a ground offensive there, sending in troops and warning residents, anyone south of the Litani River, to move away from the area. That's around 10% of Lebanon's total surface area. So you can imagine that's been sending people onto the streets there as well. And there have been direct clashes, not air bombings or rockets or drone strikes, but direct clashes reported between Israeli troops and Hezbollah fighters there in the south. So there are many fears about where this could go next. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, trying to calm things down in a flurry of diplomacy. In fact, the Lebanese president reached out to him, asking Emmanuel Macron to contact the Israeli prime minister, begging him not to bomb the southern suburbs of Beirut, but it seems that call for now hasn't been heeded.
And Catherine, Lebanon, of course, drawn into this war on Monday when Hezbollah, you mentioned it there, the militant group, striking out against Israel. We saw the government there speaking quite harshly about the militant group. That was something that we hadn't seen the last time around during the last escalation of hostilities between the two sides. Just how exactly has the government been responding to this? Is there concern perhaps about a potential civil war erupting?
Yeah, there absolutely are concerns about where this could lead, whether it could fragment further Israeli society. Now, under a peace deal, a ceasefire signed in November 2024 after the last conflict here, there were calls for Hezbollah to lay down its arms. That was the terms of that truce at that time, and to come out of the area in the south of Lebanon, again south of the Litani River. Now, Israel has flagged up several times their concerns that Hezbollah hasn't done so. In fact, we know that from diplomatic cables to the US, which have been leaked out since. They say that they have targeted Hezbollah militants in the south several times since then. So when Hezbollah entered this conflict, really responding to the death, the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in Iran, they sent 6 rockets over the border into Israel. Well, that was really the green light for Israel to come in with many forces, divisions, to mount this ground campaign in the south to try and flush out Hezbollah. They want to set up a buffer zone there. And then, of course, we've seen this extensive air campaign in the south of the country, in Beirut, tonight in the southern suburbs, but also elsewhere in Lebanon, in the east and also in the north.
Catherine, we leave it there for now. Thanks so much for joining us with that. Catherine Norris-Trent, our senior reporter, joining us live from Beirut as the southern suburbs there come under Israeli fire.